Hi, I hope you are doing good. In last session, we checked that how to create a tenant, Azure Entra ID, and then how to run the forms, sign in on form, and download the sample code. Right? Last time we have downloaded .NET Core sample. Now in this session, we will run the code and see how the code is implemented. So let's go to the code here. Let me quickly run this code. Okay, so here you could see that. Okay, so in this code we have a controller, home controller, which is authorized by Entra ID, right? When we try to hit this controller, system redirect us to the login page, which is a Entra ID login page, correct? Let me just try to log in. Let's say create a new account. When you will click on next, you will get a OTP. Okay, now you could create a new account. Okay, I have entered password. Okay, we are in. So these are our claims which we have received in a .NET app, and here we just added a for loop for each loop on these claims. Okay, let me show you this user is created in Azure Entra ID. So let's go to the Azure Entra ID here. Let's go to the users. Okay, so you in users you could see that we have a new user, which is this one. Okay, you sign up. Now just we created account. Now try to log in. Okay, we are in. Okay, so we are able to sign up as well as we are able to sign in, and we uh, check that we are getting user into directory, right? So now debug the code, go to program.cs. Here we have added controller and views, and by default the claims mapping will map claim names in the old format to accommodate older SAML application. So this flag ensure that the claims identity claims collection will be built from the claims in the token, correct? Here we are adding authentication, as we know that Azure Entra ID works on OpenID protocol. So we enabled authentication using OpenID connection authentication schema and added Microsoft identity here. This is area where we have defined where will we get a configuration. We are in this case we are getting configuration from app settings. I will show you app setting later in this session. And here we have added identity UI. We in this case we are using identity for login and logout identity areas. Right here we have enabled authorization and authentication. Because of that, we are able to add, authorize, and able to use it. Correct? If you see the program dot app setting.json, you will figure out that when you will download the code, it will already have a credentials uh, from your Entra ID apps. When you create your Entra ID, it creates a default app. Let me show you. We could see that here is the client ID. Okay, when we create a Entra ID and we run a startup guide, we created this app, and when we downloaded the code in app setting.json, we have credential of this app. Correct? You could see that the client ID, this we have in app settings, and we have a authority of step up here, which is a tenant, and okay, we could see that in app settings we have all the credentials for app. One more thing I would like to mention that in default app, it adds some redirect URIs, which you could see that sign in OIDC, and here we do have a sign in OIDC. If you create an app from scratch, which we will do in some next sessions, we will create from scratch and we will add these redirect URIs, this one and this one, into authentication. One more thing I would mention, you need to enable this check, because this will be responsible to send token to the app, and after that when app will have a token, they will have a claims. As you could see that uh, we are showing claims using for each loop. Correct? Okay, so here we have this is a default app which is created when we created a tenant Entra ID, when we created an Entra ID and we run a startup guide, right? In next session we will create a to-do app, and we will create a APIs that we will authorize, and we will see how to create these apps from scratch and how to play with these apps.